Afternoon, everyone. The Building, Zoning, Economic Development Committee meeting is being held today, May 15th, 2024, starting at 4:01. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Chairperson Patty Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Shweta Bade.
Here.
Alderman Carl Franco.
Here.
Alderman Mike Seville.
Here.
Alderman Bill Donnell.
Here.
5 present.
Wonderful. Our first order of business is approval of minutes, 24-0329, the approval of the minutes from the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee held on April 21st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Bade. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moves forward. Clerk, do we have anyone here for public comment?
We do not.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda this afternoon is 24-0305, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agency agreement with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation, Division of Aeronautics, and a not-to-exceed agreement for construction phase engineering service in the amount of $152,000 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly Incorporated for the rehabilitate auto parking lots and entrance road projects, ARR 4544, located at the Aurora Municipal Airport. Do we have a, oh, there you are.
We do. Steve Andrus.
I can't see this.
With the Airport Division. Thank you for having me. You might recall that I was before this committee about a month ago with another project called the Southeast Perimeter Roadway, Quad Perimeter Roadway project, which was the rehabilitation of perimeter roads, believe it or not, out at the airport. This was, or is, its companion project, which is rehabbing the auto parking lots at the airport. So basically, two projects very similar in nature. One is for the auto parking lots, one that you've already approved for the roadways that are connecting these parking lots. And both projects are funded through the Rebuild Illinois Airports capital bill. And in this particular case, the city's share for this project is roughly $306,000. The engineering agreement that you just mentioned is for $152,000. The $306,000 share that the city would pay also includes or incorporates that $152,000. So not sure what else to say. It's pretty straightforward. It's very similar, like I said, to the project that was approved about a month ago, but I'd be happy to try and answer any questions.
Yes, Alderman Franco.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. So that $306,000, we're using 152 of that for this portion. What will the remainder, the difference between 306 and 152 be used for? Is that the other project or something in the future?
No, it's the same project. It's
Okay.
this particular project that's before you. I think the total project cost was about 1.6 million.
Yeah, right.
About 19% is our share. Once we pay that share, so if we won't, but if we did pay Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly the $152,000 right away, the remainder, I don't know what that difference is, but that would be the difference between the $306,000 and the $152,000. That all goes for paying the contractor
Okay.
for the work that they're performing out
So
there.
something that's not been detailed, identified yet, but will be at some point in time. For that basically $150,000 more, it looks like.
Yeah, so the total project, again,
Right.
I know I'm repeating myself, but our share is just a fraction of, again, 19% of the total project cost. So whatever those line items are for the project, and I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but
Well, there's 150,000 hanging out there, right? We got 152 is committed of 306. So I'm just wondering where that 150 will go. Somewhere in the project as we go forward? That's kind of what I'm looking at.
Okay,
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Yeah,
I
sure.
apologize. 152,000 is the estimated cost
Right.
for construction phase engineering services throughout the course of construction. It's an estimated cost. It's approved by the state, has to be approved by the state. And so that is also incorporated in the total project cost. Does that help?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, what I'm trying to figure out, we're putting in 306,000. That's our share. 152 is going to this. There's 150 left hanging on the vine somewhere. So I was wondering if we knew where that was going to go in the big picture.
Well,
am I
again,
not being clear on that? I don't.
It's one of those things where, like, I think I know it so well that I don't know how to say it any differently, but the total project cost, let's say engineering might have been only 50,000. Once we pay that, we've satisfied the agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly, but we still have to pay $250-some thousand towards the project, any part of the project that's eligible under the funding, then we've satisfied our share. We're gonna pay a maximum of 306,000, I think it was, or roughly.
So I guess, to make it simple, it's going somewhere. We just don't know exactly, but it's part of the big picture. We know 152 is dedicated to this. The extra 154 basically is going somewhere because we committed to that. in
To
the overall
whatever.
project. Okay, I was
it's
just trying to
just-
see if we knew, but it doesn't matter that we know, as long as,
I don't think we would know.
Right.
It depends
Okay.
on, once we make, we're gonna have to pay the 306. And if we pay that through engineering work, then it's the difference. But we'll get billed, or it will be taken out of the reimbursement that the state makes to us.
all right. And then the other question I had, and I hope I don't put you on the spot for this one too, because you may not know. When we do these type of resurfacing projects for parking lots, do we know about how many years that lasts, so we can kind of feel, I mean, that might not be your forte, that's why I was
Well,
hesitant to ask you.
I would typically say it's probably a 20-year
Yeah.
time span that,
Okay.
but I don't think these parking lots been touched for well over 20.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a feel for that. It's not that important. I was just
No,
wondering how
you know-
often we're gonna have to put in whatever money for parking. And
But I
stuff
guess
like that.
it's important to note, and I think I maybe said it in the cover memo, these types of projects that are on the land side typically don't get funded by anybody but us, right? The city of Aurora. In this case, because it's Rebuild Illinois money, that can be used on the land side. So this is really great money for us to get, because we typically will not get it.
Right.
On the FAA or the federal side, it's got to be on air side of the field for runway lights, pavement for the, runways and/or taxiways, things like that. So this is a great opportunity for us to make some improvements with state money.
Yeah, no, it's always
So-
good to use other people's money. I was just trying to get an idea on that. I appreciate those answers.
And
Steve.
I would
Thanks.
think the parking lot would last the same amount of time as any other parking lot, which our engineering department could tell us.
Yeah, and they
maybe
could
for
probably
the
tell us. That's
next-
why I had a
Yeah.
hard time with Steve, because
Yeah.
I know he's not part of
Yeah.
it. Although he used to be in the engineering
Yeah,
department, right?
no, and I think, Ed probably could
Yeah.
weigh in on that.
Right.
Typically, and you see all these new developments, parking lots look great, and like 2 years later, they were
Right.
put on dirt or whatever. It's not their top priority.
Sure.
For us, we know it's few and far between that we get to do something like that. So typically, it's a better job and probably will last longer, but
Okay.
20 years is probably
Right.
the maximum, in my opinion.
So Alderman Franco, we'll put the job on you between now and next time we bring this up to find out from engineering how long the parking lot will last.
I'm on it.
There you go. Any further questions from you? Anyone else? Any questions?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Bay, a second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries forward. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Our next item is 24-0361, a resolution authorizing and directing the filing of a written protest to Kane County with respects to the special use petition filed by RPIL Solar 10 LLC for a community solar facility along the west side of Barnes Road, north of BNSF Railroad in Sugar Grove Township. Thank you for shutting that door. Do we have any questions there on this one?
Sure. I'm Ed Sieben. I'm the Zoning and Planning Director. Afternoon. The purpose of this resolution is to formally object to a King County special use for a community solar facility located on the west side of Barnes Road and north of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad in unincorporated Kane County within the city of Aurora's planning jurisdiction, including contiguous to the Aurora city limits. So on the screen, the property is outlined in blue there. Barnes Road is along the east side of this property. You can see the different color. Everything that has a color there is already annexed into the city of Aurora. To the north, the R1S, that is the Progressive Baptist Church property. Immediately to the east is Kane County Forest Preserve property and a small church. That little box square there is a small church. Those are still unincorporated. To the west, that's a ComEd line, but that's all Ingham Park, the light yellow to the west. And to the south, immediately south, is the Burlington Northern, and then some unincorporated property. Further south of that on Prairie, you see Linden Estates subdivision. So that's a background of the area. And this has been filed with Kane County. They are having a public hearing for this special use at their zoning board on June 11th. So that's the reason we're moving this forward. A little background, again, I just gave the location of the property. The petitioner, RPIL Solar 10 LLC, is requesting approval of a county special use. The property is currently zoned F farming. The special use permit is to allow the development of an approximately 4.99 megawatt AC ground-mounted distributed generation community solar facility on 40.78 acres. Tracy, if you want to pull up the site plan, or John, if you could pull up the site plan, kind of shows the array on the property. They'd be using about 35 acres of the total property for these ground-mounted solar panels. You can see it there. The property does drop down. It gets lower to the south as you get closer to the tracks there. So they have some areas. I don't know if that's supposed to be stormwater facilities or those little wet areas, the green, but they would use about 35 acres. There'd also be a large kind of industrial type fence surrounding this entire property. They'd have a gravel drive coming into the property also. They would not construct a substation as they're proposed to interconnect into the existing distribution facilities paralleling Barnes Road. So why is the staff recommending objection to this? This area is on the far west section of Aurora and is part of our countryside vision plan, which is a sub-area plan of Aurora that was passed by the city council in 2002. So this is the document that was done. The plan was a collaboration with many partners besides staff. It included the Aurora Planning Commission, the Kane County Development Department, Kane County Forest Preserve, Kane County Department of Environment Management, and the Kane County, and the Conservation Foundation, among others. Just a real summary of what the plan was at the time. This was to guide development within our far west area, west of Orchard Road. The plan attempted to meet the challenge of our community's evolving awareness on environmental issues and our desire to find development strategies that forge a new direction by looking at the land first and using creativity and development to achieve an innovative living environment in harmony with nature. So again, this is an area that is west of Orchard Road. We're looking at doing unique stormwater management, landscaping, etc. Among the subdivisions that have been designed under these unique guidelines, kind of going from north to south, include Verona Ridge, which is up on Deer Path and Indian Trail. We have Tanglewood Oaks on West Galena, which is kind of an age-targeted zero lot line type of development. We have Ingham Park, which I mentioned, which is to the west-northwest of this site, and then to the south, Linden Estate. So that's four subdivisions that have been very successful out in this area. The subject property is designated within the Countryside Vision Plan as one of these countryside neighborhoods in nature. In addition, the City of Aurora has invested public utilities along Barnes Road to facilitate development of this property. The proposed project, therefore, is not in keeping with the plan for the area, nor the trend and character of the surrounding and proposed land uses. The area is specifically planned for estate residential type development. similar to what has been developed in Aurora in the aforementioned subdivisions. Due to our boundary agreement with Sugar Grove, Aurora has limited land available to facilitate this type of residential development. As stated to the petitioner when we met them in January, the city wishes this property to eventually be developed for quality residential development, and as such, we would not support the solar farm use in this particular location. While the city does support solar uses, staff feels a different site that is not in the path of development would be more suitable. Therefore, the staff does recommend the resolution authorizing and directing the filing of a written protest to Kane County with respect to the aforementioned special use petition.
Lots of questions here.
If
Go
I
ahead,
can
Alderman
answer.
Denell.
Thank you. Mr. Steven, so the comp plan for this area is low-density residential?
Correct.
And what comp plan designation would be appropriate for a solar farm? Would it be more of an industrial type of use?
Typically, it would be, a solar farm would be more of an ORI or M1 type use, correct? Yes.
And do you know if the county staff is either in opposition or support of this?
So we just got this a week ago from Kane County. I attempted to reach out to Keith Burkout, the zoning administrator for Kane County today. As is pretty typical, I get the voicemail, so I've not heard back. So I do have several questions for Keith. One thing that is not in their application to the county is how long may this be there? In my conversations with them back in January, the thought was it could be decades there. They do have a plan that eventually, when this goes away, what would happen, which includes, you know, covering the area in gravel and things like that. But I don't have an exact date of how long this could be here. So, but my understanding is it could be decades.
Well, and I just want to say that I was involved in the development of the Forest Preserve property immediately to the east, and frequent this area. It's a beautiful area, and I think it is inappropriate to have this type of use. So I would support your proposal.
Anyone else? Yes, Alderman.
So I
you.
guess this might even
Alderman
be
you.
more, this might even be more for legal. You talked about 2002, we had collaboration with all these entities, one being Kane County, a couple things with Kane County. What right would they have to allow this to potentially happen when it's city property and they kind of went along with this many years ago? And I don't know the legal ramifications, but could they just say, too bad, Aurora, we're going to go with this and we're denying your appeal?
So what we're attempting to do with a written protest, if the city council does that, it will force a supermajority of the county board, so it gives more credence to our objection. I haven't, like I said, I haven't talked to Kane County staff. They did direct the petitioner to talk to us in January. We verbally told them we would not support it and we would likely object to this if you applied in Kane County. So we have indicated to that. They're obligated to process, if they do get a petition, obviously they're obligated to process. I would hope they would support the city's wishes in this case.
I mean, I had a conversation with that fellow too. I think then he called you. It's
I
like,
think in January we.
yeah, you know, mom said no, then he goes to dad, that type of thing. But I was just kind of curious because, you know, at what point in time, these layers of government over the same piece of property, who has jurisdiction and who has, at the end of the day, when everybody's all over each other, who has that 51%? That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was looking at.
Well,
So-
it's obviously still unincorporated King County, but we have extra jurisdictional control, being within a mile, in fact, not even a mile and a half. We are contiguous and kind of surround us.
Sure, okay, all right, thank you.
Alderman Seville.
Yeah, the map that you showed earlier with the light yellow,
Yeah, do you want to pull that up?
I would assume the light yellow is the boundary agreement where Sugar Grove's jurisdiction to the south and to the west?
Our boundary agreement with Sugar Grove is the only portion on here that is adjacent to Sugar Grove's boundary is south of Prairie and west of the ComEd, so just west of Linden Estates. That's Sugar Grove. And then if you take Prairie up where it becomes Gordon, it's on the west side of Gordon. So it's going to be west of where Ingham Park is, the light yellow.
And did the petitioner first approach the city of Aurora about
No,
this?
they first went to Kane County.
Went to Kane County.
And Kane County sent them to us, and we told them our opinions, and We were against it, and they went ahead and anyway back to.
Okay, yeah. And again, when do you expect to hear from the county?
I indicated to the county we were starting this process, that we would have a decision, I believe it's by the May 29th city council meeting, which would predate their June 11th public hearing, so.
Yeah,
So-
I'm concerned about the open-ended nature of it. They could be forever, the way things are going. There's going to be need for alternative power.
Just to add, Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. So from the administration standpoint, when Ed brought this to us, and we saw, and Ed included all of the issues of concern, we did not hesitate to put this through for council support. But we also plan on being at the June 11th public hearing, and we also plan on talking to our King County respective board representatives as well, and we'll continue to talk to their staff. But, reality is there are lots and lots and lots of acres out there that this could be put on. And one would think that when they were told specifically, very evenly and rationally what's happening here, the fact that they are still continuing to do it is even more cause for concern, that we want to oppose this for all the reasons that we brought forward. Now, let me also be clear. This is not in any way, shape, or form anti-solar. As you well know, the city has invested a lot in the study and a plan for solar. Mr. Andrus is here. We've got a great plan for solar out at the airport. We have solar plans for other city properties. So this in no way, shape, or form should be construed as anti-solar. It's just are these situations and fact specific to this incidents and this location that makes it objectionable.
So
Yeah.
moved.
Alderwoman Bade?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So currently, this is zoned as farming.
Zone F farming in King County,
And
correct.
you mentioned that for solar farming, we need it to be industrial.
Well, within King County, apparently, with farm zoning, they could allow it as a special use, so.
okay.
But that is a public hearing through King County. But City of Aurora, typically, it would be something that would be more of an ORI type, M1 type use. A solar farm, this is like an industrial use almost, this size.
So since this is still City of Aurora.
Surrounding it, but it's currently
surrounding-
unincorporated.
Unincorporated. And that's where Sugar Township is.
Sugar
I mean,
Grove.
this is Sugar Grove Township.
Yes, but zoning, King County controls all unincorporated areas in King County, not Sugar Grove Township, but it's Sugar Grove Township is the division.
Okay, got it.
Is the petitioner here?
No.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought up the portion of not being anti-solar, because
Yeah.
that was one of the things I wanted to discuss, that we didn't want this to perceive that we are anti-solar. And we do have a solar farm going up out by the airport, correct?
Correct.
If I remember that correctly.
Let me just add one additional thing. We are pro rooftops. In other words, this is an area that many years ago, when it was laid out, had a very robust plan for new rooftops, new houses. Unfortunately, through other situations, it didn't all come to fruition, but we certainly, in this area and this side of town, we are pro rooftop development. And you know what has been happening on, for example, at Voris Farms on Prairie. Other areas in the west side, School District 129, we hear loud and clear that, because of the bubble, we'd like to continue to look at responsible housing developments out there. So another reason why I think this petition needs to be filed against.
Any further questions?
I just want to say one
Yes.
thing, just to echo what was said earlier. The City of Aurora did spend a lot of time on the estate zoning classification, as well as where that should go, especially on the far west side of Aurora. So we've had the plans. I think you mentioned 2002 in place, and I think that's something that should be continued, really.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco. Do I have a second? Second by Alderman Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This item will move forward. Thank you so much. The next two I will do together. It's 24-0333, a resolution approving the final plot for Prairie Meadows subdivision located at the north side of Prairie Street west of North Kingsway Drive, and 24-0334, a resolution approving a final plan for the Prairie Meadows subdivision located at the north side of Prairie Street west of North Kingsway Drive.
Good afternoon, Tracy Basic, Senior Planner with the Zoning and Planning Division. The subject property is located north side of Prairie, west of North Kingsway Drive, and is currently vacant land with R1C, OS1C, and OS2C zoning with a conditional use plan development. You may recall in December of last year, the City Council approved the establishment of that conditional use plan development and approved the preliminary plat and plan at the same time. Since then, the developer has purchased the subject property. The petitioner is requesting approval tonight or today before you for the final plat for Prairie Meadows subdivision. The final plat consists of the creation of a residential subdivision lot with 1 to 74 being developed as residential lots, and the remaining lots being developed as stormwater detention facilities and open space, which includes a neighborhood park. So there would be 74 residential lots. Concurrently with the proposal, the petitioner is requesting approval of the final plan for the Prairie Meadow subdivision. The proposal consists of constructing an age-targeted ranch-style home community consisting of 74 single-family lots. The subdivision is intended to be maintenance-free living administered by the Homeowners Association. There are building elevations provided in your packet. There's 4 models with 3 variations per model. The elevations are ranch-style homes with 2-car garages, and they'll go into those a little bit more. And then lastly, the final plan does include a full landscape plan consisting of street trees, lot trees, and a variety of landscaping around the stormwater detention within the park and around the border of the neighborhood. I do want to mention, too, that the petitioner did do an extensive tree survey of the property and are saving several trees within the wetland area and around the border of the neighborhood. The petitioner doesn't have a presentation for you today, so I can turn it over to them to give you the presentation unless you have any questions for me.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from the petitioner.
Good afternoon, John Philipchuk. I'm the attorney for the applicants. With me, you haven't met yet, Brandon Raymond is the entitlements manager for Lennar Homes, and recently joined the company in this area, so we're happy to have him on board. As Tracy pointed out, 74 lots. The only thing that really changed from when we were back before you in December, as far as the plan is concerned, is given the project, the home types, how they're proposed to be built, and the amenity packages that are going with this subdivision. We took the kids' play area out, so the grandkids will have to get onto the public park, Bill. But they're putting 2 pickleball courts in lieu thereof. So it's just becoming so popular that they felt that this would be something. One of the Plan Commission members asked about, well, I heard that can be noisy. Well, obviously, if the participants control themselves, it shouldn't be too noisy. But as far as how we laid it out, we tried to put it in such a spot on the site that it's not adjacent to anything, the homes. So I don't think that the noise factor will be an issue over there. But we've got some slides. If you'd like to see them, we can show you again. What the interior, the typicals are going to be. I know there was a question about the basements. Obviously, you know, based on the land elevation, some lots you'll be able to put basements in the homes, some you won't. So we tried to maximize that. Right now, the plan calls for 53 basements out of the 74, and the other 21, we're going to have a 4-foot extension on the garages so that there'll be some extra storage room in the garage. So that's the way staff recommended that we look at that, and that's what they were able to do.
Yes, Alderman Franco.
So the neighbors are very happy that you guys are receptive to asking, when they were saying, can you save these trees? So I want to say you guys did a nice job, because a lot of people around there wanted certain trees, and you're just like, if we don't have to remove them, we'll leave them there, unless they're chromie trees. So I wanted to say that. Didn't I see at one point, though, that the high end of the value, what am I thinking of? The square footage of the house was gonna be like 21 or 2,200. I don't see that in there. Did that come down a little bit on the high end? Or was it always like right at 2,000? It was always there? Okay. I just thought it was a little bit higher. That's why I didn't know if that changed. No, that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Will the courts be lit?
No,
No lights, so then people won't be playing after dark?
I hope not.
Okay, because it is loud. I have a pickleball court behind my home, and it's not horribly annoying, but our lights go off at a certain point, so then you can't play any longer.
Sure. Yeah, no, there will be no lighted courts.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Alderman Donnell.
So there's some other improvements in the park, looks like maybe a shelter or a fire pit?
Yes,
What do
that's
you have
correct.
planned for that?
What is the what?
There looks like a shelter?
Yes.
Is that, and then a seating area? or-
Yes, exactly. And thank you, Tracy, just put up the park site so you can see the amenities that are proposed there.
Now, this will just be for the residents?
Residents
Someone
only.
that might
This will be a
wander in
private
from an
park.
adjacent neighborhood would not allow to be played?
That's correct.
Well, and the alderman,
Yeah,
but yes.
Someone from an
Well, of course,
adjacent
you have to come and
neighborhood.
inspect. We expect that.
So, again, I think Carl clarified, but I too have gotten some questions about what trees will remain. And looking at the landscape plan, it looks like it's clearly delineated. There's a wetland there. That area will not be disturbed.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, Alderman
Going
Sedell.
back to the private park, how's that going to be policed when people from the outside the neighborhood are obviously want to come and play pickleball or tennis or use the gazebo?
Obviously, the first will be the signage. We'll put a sign up that this is a private park, HOA residents only, or residents of
Okay.
this subdivision only. And then probably the adjacent neighbors, if they notice that there's, some 20-somethings playing pickleball over there, they might go over and ask them where they live. But they may live in the development. We're targeting, age, targeted product, but could be younger people.
Okay, and what are the price points again, John, for these?
We're going to start around 450,000 and go up from there.
What's the most expensive for the Sonoma, I take it?
Yeah, the largest.
And how much is that?
Mhm.
Depends on the additions.
Five.
Probably.
I'm sorry,
He'll push 5.
500,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And when do you hope to break ground and complete?
Couple months.
And complete when?
I don't know when we,
When you
complete it
anticipate
we
completing the
sell it.
project?
Sell it out.
Sorry?
When you hope to complete the project?
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, please introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
sorry. Brandon Raymond, Entitlements Manager with Lennar. We hope to complete, we hope to start actually in June is when we hope to break ground and move some dirt. I mean, obviously, we're working through some permits at the moment, but as soon as possible, I think, as John already said. And to complete the project, that would be in 2026 at some point. So a year and a half, give or take.
And the private park, when would that be completed?
That will be completed as one of the last parts because we're obviously focusing on the home sales and to drive home buyers to come in here.
Any further questions on this item?
I have one more.
Yes, Alderman
I've had a
Franco.
lot of people interested, because I live over there. Are you taking applications now for homes?
We can.
Well, just give me, I mean, because people want to know if they can start getting there. They're very anxious about that, so,
Yeah, before we have a model set up, we usually kind of sell out of a hub office. So
Right.
the answer is, of course, we can take applications or interest anytime.
yeah, because I think some people want to make sure they're in the front of the line. You never know how these things are going to go. But historically, ranch homes on the west side don't even last 24 hours. So there's a desire for them. So I just want to make sure that if I lead them to you guys, says yes, we will listen to these people because we'll take their information, I guess is what.
Of course.
Okay.
I know a good real estate agent. Any further questions on this item? A motion, please?
So moved on both.
We have a motion, okay, I'm going to just do them separate. 24-0333, we have a motion, Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That item moves forward. And 24-0334.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That item moves forward. Do we have anything else, Tracy? That's all we have today. No need for closed session.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.